All right. Good evening, everybody. Sorry about that. We just had a little bit of a technical difficulty. I tried to hold it in, Coach Jay. How's everybody doing tonight? What a crazy day. Probably one of the best days I've had on TopstepTV and in general for a while.
How's it going, everybody? Can you hear me, Dakota?
How's everybody's trading day go?
It's going great.
Why do you have that jacket on, Coach Jay?
It's a little cold. It's a little cold in New York. Let's just get the elephant, talk about the elephant in the room. I had no idea that the stream started. My bad. For anyone that did catch that. If you do have any screenshots, just go ahead and delete them. They're not that funny, but we'll take this coat off because it's actually hot as hell in here. But we were talking about naked charts earlier, Dakota, and taking all the indicators off your charts. You're such a great, trading coach that I was just following everything that you said, and just getting prepared for the stream.
Man, you guys need to have to pay for that one.
Let's get a laugh out of it. Hondo says from the ladies, thank you. Not that type of show. Dakota, we did talk about calling this segment Markets After Dark. And I think if we did call it that, maybe we would have to stream that way. But we'll see if we can ever get a check mark from Topstep to go ahead and do that. But for now, shirts on, all business. We'll talk about markets. Wow. Gotta love the internet.
Yeah, this is just right. It just happened, man. That woke me up. Yeah, we woke me up. I took like a 2-minute nap and then woke up to that phone call, man.
And Laughter says it wasn't too bad. I appreciate you, Laughter.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. But imagine just getting a phone call from Coach Jay, man. Man, delete this. We gotta delete this. How do we get this off the TV? I'm like, sorry, I'm trying. Already has 100 views and 12 likes.
I mean, I can't get more likes than that, though. I would like a few more likes. That would be cool.
Hey, I was pretty quick at logging in and deleting, or at least. Oh man, I needed that. Thanks, Coach Jay. That was a good laugh. It made my day, made my week.
It's really funny.
Crazy day. If you missed it, too bad. It's now going to the pay-per-view, talking about OnlyFans. You guys got it there for a minute.
I mean, if Andre's OnlyFans manager is in the chat and you're looking for another client, let me know. My booking information is in my email.
There's the casting call.
Let's get into the markets, please.
Okay. Woo! Started out. What a crazy day. I mean, it's not even over, and it's continuing to get even more crazy. I have the NASDAQ pulled up. Let me get some of the stuff set up into my end. I'm running a little bit behind, a little bit distracted. Let's get in here, copy, paste. Let's go ahead. There's our Topstep risk disclosure. Anything that you see and go through here is for educational purposes only. This is not a signals class, as always that we talk about. It's purely for education. Let's get to this. What a day in the markets. We did get some news that came out early in the morning, and man, just not pay attention to the chat. It was all as expected, right? We had the debate last night. That was interesting. Some entertainment there. Nothing too crazy. We did have, PPI come out this morning. What was it, PPI or CPI? It was to be expected, to be honest. And did we lose you, Coach Jay?
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Was it PPI or CPI?
CPI today. CPI today, PPI tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. So CPI came in as basically as expected, and the market reacted in a very negative way in the morning. As you can see by this wick, we sold all the way back down to basically 550s, 540s. rallied all the way back up, and then sometimes double. I mean, we ended up the day really, really positive up here, pushing 19,280s, and you were there during fast markets. You just said maybe we'll see 280s, and it was just like, do we really? That's a stretch. But sure enough, we did stretch, and we rallied and blew the top off the market, and quite literally. And sure enough, here we are sitting at these 1977s. Man, I just can't help myself, Coach Jay. It's just
yeah.
Here we go.
It was one of those things because listen, it was only 100 views. So if you weren't there, you missed it. Guys, it wasn't that big of a deal. I was changing shirts in between segments. Didn't realize the stream started. And had my shirt on for a second.
I mean, you're not a true streamer unless you take a moment, and sometimes you always forget that the stream's on. I've seen tons of and heard of a lot of streamers come in with leaving the stream on, but
right.
Yeah, it always can be worse. Anything can happen, just like the markets. But here we are. What a bullish day! How are you going into tonight with news coming out tomorrow? Like we just said, PPI coming out tomorrow. What's your views on the market tonight, and what are we expecting for tomorrow?
Well, right now we're kind of hanging out at that 280 area. I don't know that I'm looking for too much more upside. We were talking at the end of Power Hour at potentially a short because the market got very extended from volume. I'm looking at this 19,300 area for a potential rejection if we do push up there, because I don't know how much positioning. Directional position we're going to have before that PPI print. So if I'm leaning anyway right now, it's to the downside. About 20 points. But I may just be patient.
Okay. Yeah, let's do a quick audio check on that again. There was a little bit of an echo. I found out why. We should be good. Just
check.
Yeah.
How about now? Is that better?
Should be better. Better. One more time for me, Coach Jay.
Check. I'm seeing it all good now in the chat from Joy. Andrew's saying better now. Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah, it's just the one button I have to push. Sometimes I forget to push some of the buttons behind the scene. It was a long day for me, everybody. Running Topstep TV all day. Sometimes you forget some of these little details that it takes. Some of these small details make a big difference, obviously. But we are good now. Yeah. Do we expect another day like today, tomorrow? I mean, 3 very, very good days in a row. It looked like there for a minute that we was going to you just break through and just sell off in these markets and maybe retrace Monday and Tuesday, but that wasn't the case. We ended up just blowing through. Retraced Friday, retraced Thursday, retraced Wednesday, and now we're making a dent into Tuesday. Halfway through that, next level I'm seeing is, can we make a run to these 19,600s? This is an interesting level, 670s, 680s, and we are at an interesting level. We're always at an interesting level, Coach Jay. Yeah, let's see if we can continue this rally. Continue into tomorrow. I know tomorrow's going to be having a big effect. I think that, and this is just purely skepticism. If the news comes out tomorrow as expected, will we see another big day like today?
Yeah, I think so. We talked about, on a higher time frame, I was looking at that monthly VWAP. We are above it now. I believe in the NASDAQ, it was right around 19. Actually, let me just get that price. But whatever it is, we're above it, right? So I think buyers are taking control of this market. There is some room to the upside. I know you were looking at that 20,000 area, and maybe not tomorrow, or maybe tomorrow, right? It is yet to be determined, but I do see another potential big day tomorrow. We have jobless claims and PPI out.
I agree with you. I feel like the bear trend that we've seen for the past few weeks since August 22nd might be over. Like, this is the biggest bullish day, biggest bullish day. Let's just take a look at this. I have the hourly chart up. I'm gonna go ahead and switch it back to my charts, and let's just talk about this. I know it's a little bit, you might not be able to see it because it's a little small, but look at this. let's see what happened on the beginning of August, right? We had the low, we rallied up, we had this pullback, and then we had a higher low. When we had this higher low, we had something similar to what we've seen, is such a huge sell-off, and then followed by a even big, equal rally, maybe just above that. And we ended up having a nice, week or a pretty nice rally after that. Let me change the color from green, but that was pretty nice. And now we take a look at what just happened. We followed this. I mean, this was a pretty ugly sell-off. And did we just make something similar? Now, it's not going to be identical. However, we did have that nice, huge sell-off, and then followed by even twice the size of a rally. We did break through last week's, basically, what was this? The fourth and the fifth pivot highs. And are we going to now see what we saw on the 12th, 13th, 14th, and those following? So would that be a fair assumption, or is this going to be something that we could possibly see now going forward where the market can start to rally? Maybe we could start to see a run back up again and test some of these highs around 20,000?
Yeah, 100%, right? 20K is going to be that major level. That's 2 average days to the upside, and we're trading at 20K by Friday, right? So obviously we got to see what the market is telling us, but it looks like buyers have an opportunity here to take control. The one thing I didn't really look at was the volume on the move to the upside, right? Because the last time we saw some of this upside movement, it was on lower volume. Okay, and today wasn't the case. Today was an above average volume day, which at least is telling me that there might be some convinced buying in this move. This looks really good to the upside.
Yes, yep. No, I agree. I mean, this is looking very, very much like a double bottom. Of course, anything can happen, but if you tell me what a good double bottom and a higher low looks like, this would be the example that I post or I put in a textbook, right? What is a higher low? What's a double bottom look like? Well, so far this is what a textbook example, or at least a start, because to be honest, it's not confirmed until we make a higher low or a higher high, right? Yeah, definitely. Maybe looking to see if we could break through August high right here. To be determined. Now we're looking at the longer point of view, right? And then as we look at this longer point of view, we'll continue to zoom in. We'll start talking about the day-to-day price action. And then as day traders, then we're going to see where the opportunities are going to be. That being said, let's go ahead and zoom into an hourly chart and more of the same, where it's just looking pretty dang bullish. Obviously, when the market's rallying, we're just continuing to wait and see if we could get a pullback. I was kind of hoping for a little bit deeper pullback. We were during power hour as well. Of course, with hindsight, the pullbacks are never as good as you want them to be. The market's pretty good at keeping you out, especially on days like today where we just go straight back up. And we don't have great pullbacks. It's like 10-point pullbacks. And if you miss it, you know we're already 30 points higher. And so first level, yeah. 19,600, 19,700s. Maybe we see some resistance right here at 375s. It's very hard to tell. This is where we did gap the other day. This is on the 28th where we did gap down and we started that nice little rally. Oh, man. Yeah, I'd just like to see a pullback for us to get into a position.
Yeah, agreed. You think you take anything overnight tonight or just waiting until tomorrow?
I think it's waiting till tomorrow. There's been some good opportunities pre-market, right? Sometimes it's been a little bit frustrating when we open the New York session and we've already rallied like 100 or 150 points, and it sucks because you really want to be trading this market and you want to get in at a good price. And then when you do try and get into a position on a pullback, like today was rough. This morning was really rough for me. Everyone's seen it on screen where, we had some very good days, Monday and Tuesday. These are good pullbacks. And then today, it's like you're trying to buy the dip and it keeps dipping and trying to stay at it. Then we finally get that nice rally. But, yeah. Hopefully we get something similar that we seen on Monday or Tuesday. If not, maybe a little bit stronger. Looking at that rally that we seen in the mid-August, there were some of these nice pullbacks. And so that's what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking for pullbacks like this, similar to what we seen mid-August, August 9th through basically August 20th, is pullbacks like this, opportunities to get in long, looking for decent breakout trades as we hopefully be making our way to 20,000. Now, anything can happen, but if we do get to 20,000, those are going to be the opportunities I'm looking for on a day-to-day basis.
100%. Dakota, to that point, we got a question from David, and on something I mentioned as far as a pullback goes. We were talking about this monthly VWAP and, the market trading above that. David is asking, is it a possibility that we get a pullback to volume before we do continue? I think so, right? And the reason I would say I think so, I'm going to anchor. So this red line, again, anchored VWAP from the month, and I'll anchor one for the beginning of the week. Give me 1 second. So if we look at the beginning of the week, which is going to be this white line on my charts here, we are pretty extended from this beginning of the week VWAP, right? Where we had this move that was this expedited move yesterday where price went really high pretty quick on less volume, right? So I would not be surprised at a pullback towards this volume somewhere by the time we're trading, tomorrow's session with the CPI print. Maybe we do get that pullback. But yeah, absolutely, right? If this VWAP was trailing the market and closer, acting as a support, similar to what we saw on the moving averages on a 3-minute chart, right? Then a different story. But volume is so far away from where the market is trading that I would not be surprised at a pullback.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree. Like I said, pullbacks don't surprise me. I actually welcome them, looking for opportunities to get into this trend. Now, I know I say this all the time. I'm horrible at shorting this market, and you can see on the inverse, right? If you inverse this chart on this way down, these pullbacks to the long side have been great opportunities to short. And you just basically, I always joke around this inverting chart lately. I mean, pullbacks to the downside now can be better opportunities to buy and see if we could get that continuation.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. Yeah. If you flip this chart, it looks like a double bottom right at that 19,280, 290 area.
Yep, exactly. Let me go through and see. Okay. What else are you looking at, Coach Jay? I'm going to go ahead and your charts are just a tiny bit blurry. I know we were just having a little bit of technical difficulties just a moment ago. I'm going to send you a new link that you could share your charts.
Okay.
And while you do that, I'm going to switch it back to my charts, and we'll go from there. As always,
all right,
everything is going to be normal. But that being said, have you been watching crude oil? What else have you been trading other than NASDAQ that's been catching your eye?
The ES and the 10-year. 10-year notes, trying to find something that I can have a set and forget trade in.
Okay.
And the 10-year has been that. But outside of that, trading the ES a little bit more than the NASDAQ lately. I traded the NASDAQ today, but outside of today, I think the past 2 weeks, it's been mostly ES.
Why is that?
I just think it respects levels just a little bit better. And I can scale into more size comfortably in the ES than I can in the NASDAQ.
Okay.
So... and the moves are just a little less violent, if you will. So,
fair enough. And I've been trading ES a little bit more. There's going to be some statistics, trader stats that I'm going to be showing this later in the session, and I'm going to show the same trader tomorrow during TopstepTV Day Show. You guys are going to love it. It's man. I mean. I don't have any other words rather than get excited. Get excited. This trader did really well today. Absolutely crushed the markets, and I believe they were trading ES. So, that's a good one. Stay tuned. Near the end of slow markets, I already got his permission to share it tonight. I'll talk about it tomorrow as well, maybe with Coach Robert, because this trader deserves to be recognized for the way that he was trading today. Big profits, big, and wasn't even trading very big. Coach Jay, me and you all talk about all the time where you don't need to trade, huge sizes to make a lot of money. And you can imagine today was one of those days where you did not have to trade big to make a lot of money. And so stay tuned to that. Let's go ahead and finish going through our rapid fire. Let's move on to crude oil. And did we see a little bit of a reversal in crude oil today? I'm not sure. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know if it's a complete reversal yet. I think we need to get above this 67.75 area, and then we can trade back up to 70. But yeah, we are at this higher time frame demand. We have the lows of 2023 are down at 63.63. We are holding the candle, the daily candle that made that low. We're holding around 50% of it right now. So, are these cheap buys for a longer time frame swing trade potentially? I think so. If you could risk those lows on a day trade, of course, a little different. Do we see crude just chop around here, or do we get a nice bounce? Yet to be determined. But I think we are starting to turn a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I see. Your charts are now. And though your charts look a lot more clean, a lot cleaner, nice clear picture. So good to go there. I love seeing that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we did, and if you look at the daily charts, and what we were talking, I think we talked a little bit about this before. I mean, every single time we do get down here in these mid 60s, there's been some major rejection, right? Like 2021, we came down to 62 and immediately bounced. Again, November 2021, and then a few times here in the March and April of last year. And then even at the end of last year, we did come down to 68s and rallied really hard. So it's going to be interesting to see how this market reacts. Are we going to just be coming back maybe next week and saying, oh, wow, this is a beautiful zone to buy crude oil and see if we can make a run back into these 70s? So it's so hard to short this market down here. So I'm not going to be looking for shorts. I would much rather just wait, be patient. Let's see if this market can turn around, find some structure to get in long. That being said, similar to what we've seen today, right? We had a nice sell-off back down to 65s, immediately reversed, rallied, made a higher high, and I mean, it looks like we're right there, bumping up against this nice little resistance zone. And so let's see if we could break out of that. The next level I do see is maybe 68.77, maybe a test of that 69 level. Like, no trades though. No trades for me. Maybe we could talk about a slow markets trades in crude oil. Maybe looking for a long. But until then, let's move on to the next. Nikkei. How did Nikkei react? I haven't gave it much love lately. It's looking similar to the NASDAQ.
I haven't either. I think you have my charts up, Dakota. I can pull up the Nikkei chart. Very similar to the NASDAQ.
Oh, dang it. Yep, there we go. There's the Nikkei. Good catch. I mean, yeah, I haven't gave it much love, but it's actually looking like a more clear double bottom than the NASDAQ, right? Or than the equities. Here's another interesting thing. Take a look at this. This was back at the beginning of August. This was major resistance, and then resistance became support. And if we extend that, I mean, that's kind of where we were hovering. We made that double bottom. We broke out. Nikkei's a little not as vicious of a move as the NASDAQ. Let's measure this. Where was it? 4%. Yeah, it's still pretty vicious, but we are broken out. We broken out of these 36,500s. Next level, 37,000. Just the mid 37,000. 37,080. Let's see. I haven't gave it much love. I haven't traded it for a while. I typically don't recommend trading the Nikkei because it's $25 per tick, and it could be not for the faint of heart. So kind of stayed away from the Nikkei for a little bit, but something that I always like to just watch, pay attention. If there is a great setup, I will trade it. Moving on, let's talk about gold. Now we do know that there's a little spike in volatility right at 8 p.m. Central. I have not traded it very often, but 1 hour chart on gold. Let me look at the daily because it's looking kind of bullish to me.
I was just gonna say I kind of like a long in gold right where we are. Maybe I'll wait for that volatility to come in to see if we can get it a little bit lower. But I like these prices right here, right now.
Right here, right now. Bullish flag. Is that what you're thinking of too, Coach Jay? Like maybe a bullish flagging pattern. Let me go. I gotta change gotta change some of these settings. Whenever you, let's go style. Make sure I have to get all these settings right back into where they were. Okay. So yeah, bullish flag pattern. Looking at it at the daily, yeah, we've been finding buyers right there, 25.16 to 25 evens right there. That's nice. It was resistance. It became support. If we take a look and we start to zoom in on, say, an hourly chart, you can kind of see it set up. I know it's a lot zoomed out for everybody, but yeah, you can see how there is a very nice trend line that if we do break out and we are starting to make those higher lows, and this is a good looking wedge pattern right now. It could go both ways, right? Where if we do break down, we could see a lot of selling, and if we break up, we can see a lot of buying. However, typically the odds favor the direction of the trend that we did, or that the trend going into this flagging pattern. So the longs are favored here, but anything can happen. And so I would love to see us break above this, because I've been looking at that 2600 level for quite a while.
Yeah, it almost feels inevitable that we get there, right? Where it's a major level, we're only 60 points off of it. You got to think that these bigger numbers act like a magnet. And with that being the case, maybe we don't get there if so many people are expecting it. But with this consolidation, again, higher time frame chart is up and to the right. I think we do see it pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, that is something to be said. When something looks very obvious, it's almost like, oh, this is looking too good to be true.
Right.
Yeah, it can get a little dicey and scary, but then with hindsight, it would be a lot easier to see. I see 100 lots come in at, oh, never mind. Looking at something else. I had the NASDAQ micros and seen 100 lot order. I'm like, dang, man, don't have my charts synced up just yet. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We haven't been seeing too much volatility come at 8 p.m. Maybe we could watch that and see if we have any other trades set up. And then once we're finished with this, we're going to review that trader that I was talking about, and we can have some more great discussion about that. And then guess what? We'll just do some Q&A. Whatever you want to talk about, Coach Jay, whatever the chat wants to talk about. Like I said, it's been a long day for me. I'm going to, after I stopped TopstepTV, I had meetings. I want to go over some trading strategy going into tomorrow. And then, it's going to be hands off, I think, until tomorrow morning because of the news.
Yeah, you had a long day, man. I think even now, like, we talk about that mental capital thing all the time, right? How much mental capital do you have to make great trading decisions right now? Sometimes you need to give yourself a break. Even if we're looking at the charts and framing things out, sometimes you don't always want to be under that pressure of having to manage a trade. So I absolutely get that for sure. So if you have any questions, definitely send them in. If we see something that sets up as a decent trade, we'll take it. I know I saw some people saying they took that short off that double top in the NASDAQ. Really nice trade.
Yeah.
About 30 points in the profit right now.
Yeah. And man, we have some great traders here. I've been seeing some great traders tear these markets up in this volatility. So, yeah, I think that's a good point, Coach Jay. And that's what a trading buddy is for. It is, even though I might want to continue to push and push and push, I'm like, you know what, I keep going. Sometimes you just need to like hear it from someone else. Like, hey, this is a long day. It's mental capital is more important. Even though you did recharge it a little bit right there at right before slow markets, it was my tank was running low, and then that happened. I'm like, man, you just gave me a lot more energy going into this slow markets
Dakota,
class.
You're my guy. I would give you the shirt off my back.
You know that's not going away. Wait till the Topstep team comes in, and then you know they're gonna hear about that. That's gonna be a meme.
Just let's see what's happening in gold. I think we're seeing we get some movement, and there we go. Like we said, we like this here, right now. Didn't take the trade. What time is it? Just hit 8 Central.
8:01. Yep, 8:01 Central. We're seeing a spike in volatility. Man,
seeing a little spike here.
Just a little spike. Not too much. I zoomed into the 1 minute. Let me zoom into, or let me take a look at this. What you're looking at, the 3 minute, right? Yeah. The 3 minute.
Yeah. It's not a huge move. It's a 2-point move, right?
Yeah. in comparison, yeah, there's not too much volatility here on gold, but
There hasn't been all month.
no.
But with that being the case, is it a actually, now that I'm looking at this, this feels like middle of the range here. If I'm looking
Okay.
at a 30-minute and I zoom out, going all the way back to August 16th, if we look at this range, let's just go high to low on what that range is. We are dead in the middle right now.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'm gonna be patient.
Yeah, I do like the longs on gold, but being right in the middle, let's just pass on that. That's also the beauty of looking at so many different markets, right? You don't have to sit there and play in the middle on one of the things, one of these markets. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. We're getting a bit of a pullback now. We are getting a bit of a pullback. We did, I mean, like this is a 5-minute chart. Right as we started, we seen that rally up to 19,282 and immediately rejected 40 points. Like these are not small moves still. Let me look at the 1 minute. Yeah, what is this, the Batman pattern? I don't know if that's the technical word for it.
Yep, yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times, the Batman pattern, where we make a run up and make a second run up. So this is going to be interesting. This is volatility. There's still a lot of volatility in slow markets. Push up to 282 and an immediate rejection down to 240. So that was 40 points. The Batman signal. I don't want to touch this market yet. I want to see more structure. I want to see how the news is tomorrow. And I'm okay with basically passing on any trades tonight. I know I was talking about looking at some slow market concepts, but sometimes it's best just to hold off.
Definitely. We know we're going to have a good session tomorrow. Going to see some volatility in the markets, and it's okay, especially because these, whatever trades we take tonight are on tomorrow's trade report, right? So you don't want to, shoot all your ammo and then have nothing to do tomorrow. So I'm okay being patient as well.
Yeah, slow markets. This is the start of the new session. You have tonight, you have London session, you have the New York session, and yeah. It's very long, and I always talk about that, and I think that's very, very important. Worst thing that you could do as a trader is hit a daily loss limit at the beginning of a session, especially the Asian session. I've done it before. Yep. It's not a good feeling.
Same here.
Not seeing anything else. Seeing anything else. Let's get to some questions then.
Let's see what we got.
You answered that?
I did answer that one. We can, speak about it as well, though. I do not personally use Bookmap.
Neither do I.
I think it's a great tool. I just don't use it. I use, kind of just time and sales and the DOM that give me the same information, but I like the visual component that Bookmap is, right? You see it all in one place. To me, it's just a little too noisy, but I know, Rips uses it, and we saw how Rips, absolutely read the market like a pro today.
Man, that was something else. Yeah.
A lot of Bookmap reads.
Yeah. Those were all of his. That was all Rip's levels that I put on during fast markets. If you guys didn't know, and then they lined up to mine, not exactly, but I look at zones, but they were bouncing off them like it was just uncanny, and it was pretty impressive. Trading micros. How long do you think it will take to pass a 50K and a 100K combine, respectively? I don't like putting time frames on when to pass combines. I don't.
Same.
I would say longer than if you were trading minis, but it's also, you could blow it faster as well. I wouldn't focus on. Yeah, I don't like that way of thinking of time frames of how long it's going to take you to pass. What I like to think about is, if I'm going to trade micros, I want to follow my process. And once I feel comfortable in my process and having that confidence, then you would scale up. And then as you scale up, you'll see your equity curve. You'll see your account grow. And then you'll basically pass when you're ready. Like, does that make sense?
Makes sense to me. When you put that time frame on it, I don't think a lot of us realize, but you put the time on it, and it usually takes you longer than what you expect by doing that, right? It's like, oh, I want to pass it in 2 days. It's like, oh, I've been trying to pass a combine for 6 months because I'm trying to pass it in 2 days. It's like, what about trying to pass one in 6 months and see how that changes? And is 6 months a long time? It is, but that time is going to pass anyway. And if you're spending the time with reckless trading, you're you're hurting yourself in the end, because you're going to try to carry that into a funded account, and it's not going to work out for you, for what we've seen for most people. So just be patient.
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It really is. I mean, essentially, when you start putting time frames on yourself of when to pass or when to make money, you start to handicap yourself. You start to put your psyche, your mental capabilities into like a box and handcuffs, right? Where the market doesn't care about your time. I've seen that myself. I've seen it when traders try and take that step to become a full-time trader. Then they start getting bills in terms of, I have to pay my bills every month. And the markets don't care about your bills that come every month. It's a hard mental gap to get over or to get through, because you go from changing your mindset from, over a period of a year, I just want to be consistent and profitable, to now month to month that you have to make money. You have to pass in this period of time, or else you're not successful. And I did just go through that this year, right? Where I made it to leaderboard, pulled out 140K, and then over the summer, I struggled. And it wasn't just for a month. It wasn't just for a week. It was for a decent stretch of time. And I had bills coming in. And just because the bills come in doesn't mean the market's going to give me what I want in, say, July or August. And then maybe, the next month's going to be a little bit better in your trading. And so try not to put time frames in your trading.
Yeah, definitely not.
We are.
What else?
We're all sitting in wheelchairs now. Yeah. Nice and slight. Let's review this trader statistics. I'm going to review these tonight.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's talk through this a little bit, and tomorrow we'll talk through it again. Maybe I'll talk through it with Coach Robert and Eddie, because this trader deserves that level. Let me see if I could pull him up, and I'll show it. You can see it. It's in my Discord channel, Coach Jay. I'll send it to you. Give me just a moment. Let's see if I could find them again. Here we go. Man, it's so beautiful seeing this. It's one of those. Let me see. I'll send it to you right now. It's one of those traders, and it's one of those tradings where at first glance, you're like, oh, this is going to be an interesting. It's going to be very interesting in terms of, is this trader just going full size? But then when you start to break it down, you realize that it's a thing of beauty. So let's take a look at this. This is the trader Express funded accounts. And the first thing you see is, and the first thing I first thought, one day in this account, 2 days in this account. Could this trader just be going all in and gambling? And so that's what I originally thought. And sure, it's early. Trader saying copy traded 5 XFAs. So whatever this P&L is, it's times 5. So almost $100,000 in 1 day in an Express funded account. And the first thing I thought was like, wow, this trader just went 15 contracts or all in. And taking a look at this, no, it wasn't just one trade. There was a couple trades. And then as we scroll through that, winning trade percentage, 24%. Lots of losses in here. Risk reward, huge, right? Remember, it's just 1 day, so anything can happen. You guys know what I like. I like to see a month. But while we go through this, average trade duration, 1 hour. And let's just go through. I wanted to show you the trade in terms of where this trader was getting in and the size. Nothing more than 3 contracts.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah, nothing.
And again, it's just 1 day, but this is.
Yeah, usually I don't like to feature a trader when it's just 1 or 2 days. Like I said, a couple weeks, a month, but I just wanted to point this out. The money that can be made with just a few contracts, yeah, that is a thing of beauty. $12,000, almost $13,000
On a two
on a
lot
2 lot.
in the S&Ps.
And then another 6,000. Of course, there was 3 total, but it looks like you took profit, scaled in, scaled out. Let me look at this. And then here's
They added to a winner.
yeah,
So they had to. Yeah, go ahead, Dakota.
yeah. Here's a screenshot, and then let me know on the adding. So this is what the trader sent. Here's a screenshot. It looks like it was on the ES, yes, but shorted 3 contracts. It showed $1,200 in drawdown right there. Interesting. Held through that entire move and stopped out. So stopped out right there. That shows that this trader was trailing it, managing his risk, stopped out. But here's another thing. Entered in long. That was about where we were looking to get in long after that move. Held this entire move to the long side and then didn't get stopped out until all the way up there. How tempting would it be to just close profits after we've moved? I don't think I could even do this, Coach Jay. In holding a trade that long after such an extended move, I'd be taking profits like near the high of the session, like right there at like 5,500 evens. So
100%. Yeah, I think so. I was actually talking about this during at the buzzer, and just what does it take to hold a move like that? And talking to Coach Paul about this, he's just like, you get, and I've heard David Green say it as well. You get in for a technical reason, get out for a technical reason. Right now, not sure what exactly this trader was looking at to say, hey, I'm going to stay in this trade. And again, we're talking about a small sample size of trades, but this is, if you can, whatever you did to trade this way is something that you can do a lot on these trend days, right? And it's adding to a winner. It's identifying that the market is in a trend and getting out when it tells you to get out instead of focusing on a P&L or letting your emotions kind of take over from there. There's a few different ways I've seen traders mention they can do it. Being a volume analyst, I've seen traders say, anchor a VWAP to where you got in and only exit when the market closes below it. If that was the case and that trader did that from the lows, the market never got back below that VWAP. So let the auto liquidator close you out, or MOCs. So
I agree. And this is adding to the trade going in favor, because I'm looking at these, right? And when that short looks like, a couple trades, and then you entered into a short, then you added as it was going into your favor, and then you added again. And so as this trade was going in your favor, you added, and then you held, and you were trading your plan. You were following your process. I'm assuming. Now remember, a lot of these are assumptions, and you let the market stop you out, like you said, Coach Jay. Entering a trade based off the rules of your trading plan, and then closing your trade based off the rules of your trading plan. So that's a thing of beauty. And I'm guessing, was it the same for the long? So it looks like you did try and get into a long at, was it 54.29s a couple times, stopped out. Enter a long, stopped out. Enter a long, and here's the thing: you're getting stopped out for like $500, $200, $200, and so yeah, this is the only reason why, this is the reason why I was featuring this trader off of one day, because if this trader, and you're able to do this over a longer period of time, regardless of how many little losses you can get, this risk reward and this style of trading is what I love to see. And I know Mick would be smiling, mustache side to mustache side. Man, I was going to say, no ear to ear, but yeah, you can imagine where you hear Mick. He's catching a piece of the trend. That's exactly what this trader is doing. And then you got into a good position. So it looks like you're doing 2, 2, 2. Got into a good trade, and then you added again. And then not only did you add, you scaled out. So still, it's a very small sample size, but a good sample size where it's not just one trade in and out, and you just got lucky. And you're journaling. You're journaling.
One more thing I want to say on this, Dakota. If you sort the trades chronologically, this trader before the New York session opened was down about $1,000 before the market opened.
Okay.
All trying to short. So you identified the direction of the market initially, right? We all saw the market sell off to the downside, maybe a little bit early on the trade, got stopped out of those moves, but didn't at that time just let go of the bias. You saw something that said, hey, this is still a short. Maybe I need to wait a little bit. You waited until the New York session opened, then caught that short, recovered some of the losses. A lot of times, we'll see a trader take, and you say this all the time, I would take that trade, 9 times out of 10. We see traders take a couple trade ideas, they're wrong maybe on their entry or their timing, get stopped out, and then try to go the other way. If that was the case, we wouldn't be talking about this XFA right now. This would be a blown account, right? So sticking with the trade if the opportunity still presents itself, and then switching that bias, getting in the flow with the market to the upside is a really great trading day in general.
Yeah. And I like that you're journaling. I mean, that's good. It's only 2 days. It's 2 days. Now, looking at the negative day, because, learning from negative days, this was a rough one. The first day in your XFA was a rough one. If there's anything positive, I like that you're just not holding these trades until like the daily loss limit. Looks like enter out. There's losses, a couple winning trades, a lot of losses, but 1 or 2 winners, and you're not just getting all in, all out. Man, I guarantee you cheeks were clinched today in those trades because it looks like you're really close. Yeah, like that you stopped trading and you just didn't blow the XFA, right? Because no daily loss limit. So you implemented your own daily loss limit is also a positive note on Tuesday. And without it, you wouldn't have had today. If you did not implement a daily loss limit on your own, you would have not had a day like today. If you would have just kept going and lost your XFA on day 1, you would have not had a day like today. So definitely advice going forward, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit with Coach Robert and Eddie tomorrow, so I'm not going to spend too much time. I've already spent plenty of time tonight. Advice going forward, stick to it. Do not let the profits go into your head. Maybe don't even think about scaling up, right? There's no sense to me scaling up. Stick with your trading plan. Try and get that consistency. Get maybe a month or 2 under your belt. Continue to trade good like this. Last thing I would want to see is a trader who scales up and then ends up blowing the account. Love to see this trader continue to use a daily loss limit. No sense risking any of this outside of $2,000 or $3,000. Yeah. Any other thoughts on this, Coach Jay, before we go ahead and move on to some more questions?
Last thought, and I'm looking at that first day in the XFA, and again, everyone trades at different times. The one thing I will say on this XFA was new as of yesterday, right?
Yeah.
I've recommended to traders not trading right after it's available to you, because there's that like Christmas toy excitement of, hey, yeah, I got this new account, I can finally start making some money in it, and then wanting to take the trades. I've seen a lot of traders have losing days on that first day for that reason specifically. And then if I'm looking at the times that this trader was trading, these are all Eastern times. The first trade was taken at 6:50 Eastern. Then we have another one at 8:23, 9:32, 10 p.m., 11 p.m. And then that 11 p.m. trade was closed at 3 a.m. And then we had a 6 a.m. trade. So it does look like you got that new Batman toy and wanted to, it's like, yes, I just opened this up for Christmas. I'm not going to bed tonight. Be conscious of that, right? Yeah. If your trades, when you get into that XFA, should match exactly what you did to get there, as long as it was a sustainable process, right? If you just over leveraged past in 2 days, don't carry that over. But if you traded this well, don't let that excitement blow your account on the first day.
Agree. Yeah, maybe even size down. Like there's even an argument to say size down. Maybe look for a couple 200, a few more 200 plus winning days. Pull some money out of the market. Like to me, that's what I would do. I'm being completely honest.
This is amazing.
If this was my account, and I'll say, great. 1 day down, I'm going to size down, try and look for just $200. If I catch a couple good trades, great.
Trade some micros.
Then take a payout after that, be happy, put some money in my pocket, and then continue to focus on process over profits, which it looks like you did today. Process over profits. You didn't let that dollar amount get into your head and closing that stuff out early. So it's a great thing to see. I'm going to talk about
we have him.
Go ahead.
We have him in the chat. So Manor MJ in the chat says, "Yep, my first day was not disciplined at all. Broke all my rules. If you could read the journal, I yelled at myself." And you know it, right? And we always want to be conscious about how we talk to ourselves. But you want to be your biggest critic as well, right? And if you know that, that's great. And the fact that you journaled it is even better.
Yeah.
And like Dakota said, make sure you take some money out of these markets. You're copying these over five accounts. That's 100K in a day. Nothing wrong with some small $200 days just to stack to get that payout and put some money in your pockets, because that is awesome.
Yes. Realize it, make it real. Touch. Yeah, that's the best advice that I could give. Put yourself in a situation where it's real. You're better off. And that's life-changing money. It 100%. Doesn't matter where you're at around this world. That is some life-changing money. So stay consistent. Don't let it get into your head. We'll have further conversation tomorrow with Coach Robert and Eddie and get their point of view, because, yeah, I don't have the leader, but I don't have so much. The crew is gone. We don't have Mick or anybody to give him a pat on the back, but I certainly will. And to your point, Coach Jay, we are usually harder on ourselves than anybody else, and sometimes we do need to be our own best friend and say, you know what, it's okay, get back up, and we could do another good job.
Yep.
Anyway, let's get to a couple more questions. And to be honest, Coach Jay, I think like Nick for a tick last night, I might be okay with ending this for a little bit early.
Yeah, that's 100% fine. We're not talking about too much about trades, and I get it. If you pull up my charts, you guys can see what I was doing instead of trading.
Okay, here we go. There we go. Batman. There's the Batman. It didn't really play out. I was thinking that maybe we do sell off a little bit more and make that the other half of his face.
We got time.
Yeah, we got time, and we are rallying a bit. Man, these are some volatile moves for us slow markets, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
We got Shurkan saying, "Let's see a trade, though." If you see something, call it out in the chat, and we'll see if that fits any of our. I don't see a great trade right now, or anything I really want to take.
Yeah, you can see trades all day. I was here all day, guys. If you wanted to see a trade, watch the replay. I'm not seeing anything set up. We're watching these markets. Let's see. I did like long crude oil, but it's just news tomorrow. Not going to force a trade. There's nothing really tempting. And, yeah, like you're saying, Coach Jay, when you don't feel like trading, sometimes you can just sit here and not trade. And I'm going to just show you guys that. I'm pretty exhausted, and I'm not going to be forcing any trades. Tomorrow, we're doing it again. I'm going to have Nick for a tick on me and with me in the mornings. Same thing. Then we're going to have D. D's going to join me for Power Hour. That's going to be fun.
Nice.
And then you, Coach Jay, our regular Friday session with Nick for a tick during Power Hour as well. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited, and the party's going to continue. A few more questions, and then I think we could just go ahead and call it an evening.
Works for me.
Yep. Let's see. I got to zoom in. I need to get me some blue light glasses. I followed all of your trades this afternoon. I need to ask, how are you able to draw the levels? Please, I would love to learn to draw levels. So, Andreas, first you need to get an amazing trading buddy to tell you what the levels are, and then you click on this button that says horizontal line, and then you just place it where he tells you, and then the market just magically went there and bounced up and down on these levels, which was quite amazing. But that's what this morning was, Andreas. Sarcasm aside, very simple, very basic, looking at support and resistance. Kind of do it here every night, and let's just take a look for an example. This is a 5-minute chart, and if we look at this, to me, this is a support zone. I don't like looking at exact zones. I like looking at, or not levels, exact levels. I like looking at zones. So to me, this is a support zone. And if we get down there, yeah, I like this level. Topstep daily levels. There you go. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Good shout out.
That's a great
Thank
one.
you. If you take a look, I'm going to show this on the hourly chart. If
you got my charts up, Dakota?
Yeah. Oh man, there we go. Good call. So if you take a look at this is an hourly chart on the NASDAQ. If you click on indicators and you go over and you search Topstep daily levels, that's exactly that. You have, I know yourself, Coach Jay, they do that for you. Topstep has a team that's doing this for everybody. Now these are not, and now remember, I repeat, this is not a signal level. We put our risk disclosure in there as well. Sure enough, these are levels of interest, just like this morning, just like you've seen, Andreas, where somebody who's been trading for a while, sees a level of interest and says, this could be a level of interest, and puts it there on the chart for you. And then you make that decision whether you want to trade around that level, long or short. And it gives a good, interesting area of contrast. And you can see some of these are pretty dang spot on, where sure enough, to me, I would look at this and say, that looks like a pretty good support level. If for some crazy reason the market does sell off down to this zone, then sure, I might consider taking a long, because history says this has been support before. Yeah, these levels are pretty dang good. I've been watching it for the past month or so, and they've been relatively similar to the way that I look at the markets as well. And you can see, look, this Topstep level weekly kickoff high, we've seen it played out pretty well during power hour. You could look at that. We rallied up there, hit it. Nothing's perfect in this market. Right during power, what is this? Yeah, at power hour, and rejected off that. So that could have been a great trade if you had those levels on your chart.
We did have a question about that 280 level, Dakota. Someone was asking how I got that level.
Yeah, me too. I'm curious. Show me.
Yep. So just real quick, again, all of my levels are based on some form of volume analysis, but I was looking at a few different things, right? So we have this daily candle to the downside. Anyone that has joined at the buzzer knows exactly, they could have told you this from a couple months ago, how we came up with that level. But I'm going to look at the high and the low of that candle, and these 50% retracements, equilibrium, whatever you want to call it in the market, we see it play out time and time again. So this huge down candle that we had, 50% of that was 19,297. And then there was a candle that we had been talking about all month pretty much, or really the last week. And that was, give me 1 second. That was last month's PPI candle.
Ooh,
and
okay.
if I frame that candle out, because this was important last month, 50% of that is 19,269. Now, if we fast forward to today, this wick is right in between those two 50%. So when the market looked like it was going to continue to trend up, that's where I was looking, right? And somewhere in the middle of that, right? Let's cut that 50% in half, is 19,281, and that's where that level came from. Balance.
It seemed like a stretch, 50%. Man. It seemed like a stretch, but like it today proves anything can happen in these markets. Whether you're a bull or a bear, man, what a day! What a day! What a great way to end it on Power Hour.
Yep.
I don't have anything else to add. It looks like there's one more question. I'll let you answer that. It just came through, and then I think we could finish it there.
How do we know the SBR or RBRs are strong or not? I'm assuming this trader is talking about support and resistance. How do I find out whether a support or resistance is, if that's what you're speaking of? I determine whether they're strong or not by the market's reaction to them. Right? I'm going to be reading volume, and if I identify something as a support, resistance, supply, demand, whatever you want to call it, I want to read how the market is trading at that level, right? So if I see a lot of selling into the level but price not dropping, then that shows me that that level is stronger. If I see a little bit of selling and the market kind of just sells right through it, then what that tells me is the market participants who created that as a supply, demand, support, resistance, whatever you want to call it, they don't care about those prices anymore, and they're letting the market trade through it. So that's how I would look at that.
Fair enough. Yeah, and I could also, what I have to add to that is usually the higher the time frame where you find support and resistance, typically the stronger, right? Higher time frames tend to be stronger than the lower time frames. But there's no guaranteed in anything. It's not guaranteed. And just like you said, Coach Jay, it depends on how we react. And that's why those Topstep day levels, those levels are good if the market reacts the way that you want, or like maybe a signal, right? A 3-bar reversal that's everyone's been talking about a lot more lately is a good, perfect example where if a 3-bar reversal happens at a big level that you might see on like an hourly or a daily chart, and it's a 5-minute 3-bar reversal, then that could be very powerful. If it's just happening at some random place, then maybe it's not as powerful. And heck, we even seen a 3-bar reversal just now as tonight, right? Where here's the NASDAQ 5-minute chart. We sold off. We was talking about that sell-off, and guess what? That 3-bar reversal just happened. Here's another good example. There's that 3-bar reversal. There's the reversal candle. We broke that high, and we're starting to push up. So simplicity and power and simplicity, and that 3-bar reversal happened. We're at a pretty interesting level. There's this nice little resistance. But then, right, there's a lot of 3-bar reversals in this chop, and so you do have to determine what 3-bar reversal and where it is, when it is, and does it make sense in your strategy? Because look, there's plenty of 3-bar reversals everywhere on the chart. It just matters when and where, and that's the most important part.
I know we're done. We got one more question. Let's just get them out of the way. One more question I see in Discord from Nick Richardson. How do you progress past that mental gap that you're all explaining? Can you discuss some of the emotions you all experience and the strategies you implemented? I think that applies. I don't know that it is as much of a progress past as it is a constant work to do, right? I think some of the mental issues, if you will, that we have for trading or barriers, or, you know, I'm a very opinionated person at times, and I can be very bullheaded, right? Where I'm just like, you know, this is what I expect to happen. But what I've realized is that that's how I am personality wise. So I try to adjust that, right? And take myself out of my decision making in my trading, right? Take Jason out of it and just be, you know, a trader at the end of the day. But I think what's most important is identifying if you have any type of personality things that might affect your trading, and then mitigating that, right? So if I get super drilled into a trade for a day or a trade idea, right, where I say this needs to be a long, and I identify that I'm wrong, it's about, okay, hey, you're wrong, but you can't make decisions with that wrong idea, right? Or you can't, you know, allow your emotions to hijack your trading decisions. You can have all the emotions that you want, right? People say, you know, don't be an emotional trader. It's not realistic. We're all human, and it's going to happen. You get better at managing those emotions. And it's about, hey, I am on tilt right now. Let me go process that tilt somewhere else that's not on the charts. Because if it happens on the charts and the results are normally negative, then you can already expect what they're going to be if you continue to trade. So for me, I realize I'm on tilt. I have to step away. I might, and I've told traders to do this before, it sounds ridiculous, but if I realize I'm on tilt, I might lay down on the floor under my desk. And that sounds crazy, but so does losing money because I can't manage my emotions. So which one is crazier? I would rather lay on the floor and save myself money than to sit at my desk, try to force something to happen and lose money because I'm upset.
Yeah.
Right. So identify how you process your emotions. And if it comes out negatively on the charts, then you have to pull yourself away from it.
100%. I mean, we could probably talk for hours and hours talking about the emotions, because the emotional side of trading is the majority of trading. I mean, trading, when broken down in simplicity, can I know people don't like me using this word, easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would just say it's simple, right? It's really simple. You're just clicking buy or sell. Where are we buying and where are we selling? And everything in between can be broken down on a majority of emotions. And some traders say 80%. Some people say 90%. At the end of the day, 80 to 90% emotions are such a big part. And I know I had some classes earlier last year, Coach Jay, we focused a lot on emotions, and
Yeah.
it can't be stressed. The importance of emotions cannot be stressed enough. It cannot be overstated. I go through emotions too. You guys see me go through it day to day. But then the thing is, and the most important thing is, like you said, Coach, you do not let those emotions get into your trading. Like go take a walk,
Right.
go stretch, go touch grass, go do whatever you can to manage those emotions. Because right now, look, I'm feeling a little bit of FOMO. Watching NASDAQ break highs, and you guys know how much of a buyer I am. And when the market does this, and it did it to me today, where we just rallied and I wasn't in it, it freaking
Yep.
sucks. When the market
Yeah.
goes and does what you've seen today, and I only finish up, I say only, but I made a fraction of what I probably could have. And then I see the trader just destroyed it, right? Almost $100,000. And that was such a beautiful move today. And I'm watching this right in front of us, 40, 50 points. And we're going to be breaking session highs, right? We might even push through to 300 tonight. And as such a buyer of a dip I am, it sucks. It sucks watching this. And I do feel these emotions because it is FOMO. But I just know that I'm going to have another opportunity tomorrow. We're going to have another opportunity the next day. And sometimes it's just very hard to think about, especially when you're sitting here in front of the chart. And I know everybody here goes through that same thing. The more you look at the charts, the more you're going to see these opportunities. But just knowing that there's going to continue to be more, what's more important is capital preservation.
Yeah, you got to be in it. You have to have something to be able to trade in order to trade. And it feels a little easier with just being able to reset accounts and things like that. But, learn how to manage yourself, because it doesn't matter if you can make $1 million in a day. If you can't manage your emotions and you lose $1 million in one tomorrow, you're not a profitable trader. So let's end it there, Dakota. I think great session. Both get some sleep. Do it all again tomorrow. Remember, traders, to put a stop in, because if not, you could lose your shirt.
I'll always check if you're
supposed to hit the outro. You're supposed to hit the outro.
I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, my hands are tied up. Yes. Okay. Take care, guys, and I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Take care.
Have a good one.